Okay, this is an instruction video on these Hinge Tamers, is what I've been calling them. They are made to take the bite out of this hinge mechanism on your Ursa Minor J30. They will fit both the JKU and the JLU models of tops. And I will be building 20 to start with and putting them on eBay. So I'll also be showcasing them on the forums. They'll be on Expo in the Ursa Minor section. Now this thing is molded and formed Kydex of my own design. I worked on it for a little while and did a couple of different prototypes, and I finally found one I'm happy with, and this is the final product. So we're going to talk about the installation. Now the first thing you do is open your top, and you're going to want to put the safety rod up in the back, and that's going to help you hold the top up. The next step is you're going to wrap a ratchet strap around that and ratchet it to ratchet some pressure out of it and take this off. Now you can just take it loose at this end, or you can take it loose at the top also. I just took it loose at the bottom and tied it up here. And be aware that this thing's under pressure, so be careful around it. You've got a line of fire waiting to happen there if you're not careful. The top comes off with these two bolts. Now these are a stainless steel metric bolt button head, and you're going to get those out and you're going to replace those with ones that come in the kit. They're slightly longer, and there's a washer on the back side to hold everything together. So you'll get two bolts, two washers, and one of these shield per side. The textured side goes out and the form goes in, and that's to keep you out of your hinges at the top and to hold the tent in the bottom here as it bellows out. Because what I found is when these tents pinch, they pinch at the final close. When you're pushing down, they tend to bellow out, and they get caught in here and in here, and they get the holes in them. So as you close it, you'll close it just like Ursa Minor tells you to. You'll hold your sides in and you'll close it, but you'll no longer have to worry about the tent getting into that. So to pull these out, you're going to use a 1/2 inch socket, and let's talk about what you'll need here. I used a 1/2 inch socket. Even though they're metric, the 1/2 inch works perfect, or you can use a 13 millimeter. I used two 1/2 inch wrenches, and these are for taking the gas strut loose. A 5 millimeter hex socket, or hex end wrench. This is to get in the button head bolt if you need to tighten that down or anything. I use these two number 2 Phillips screwdrivers, and they were used for to take the place of the bolts when you shove the bolts out. I use a small hammer and a punch, and then to put it back together, sometimes the bolts are a little bit cranky coming back in, and I use a pair of channel lock pliers as a press to press them back through. Now you're going to want a buddy. You're also going to want a ladder, but you're going to want a buddy who doesn't mind you yelling at him once in a while. I use my son to kind of hold the top up as you press these out. And this is not an easy job, so definitely you'll want 2 people. I've done it with 1, but it's much easier with 2. You want to be aware there's these little black spacers in there. As you push those out, these spacers are going to fall out if you're not real careful. And so be careful that you don't lose those. And I shove a screwdriver in there. And I generally start the front one first, because you can kind of bend this up out of the way and get the front bolt through, and then you can press the back one out next and get it through. That's the hardest part of the job, is wiggling that around and getting it lined up and getting them back together, because as you can imagine, when you take these loose, this top's going to want to fall and flop around, and that's why I strongly suggest 2 people. So the bolt holes are a little bit big on the backside here to allow for any kind of difference in manufacture or clearances in your top in particular. That's one thing I learned the hard way, is to oversize the holes a little bit. Now you'll reuse your nylock nuts that came from Ursa Minor, and they go together like that. So yeah, I would plan probably 2 hours to get this job done completely, and it should take care of all your problems with the defect in the tent getting into the hinges. So if you have any questions, leave a comment or contact me on the forum. I'll be leaving information there too. And I've got 20 sets initially, and if they sell, maybe I'll make some more, and we'll see. So good luck and happy camping.